Peace to the leaders, achievers, hip-hop believers, and future seers. Welcome to it. It is another edition of Raps Reviewed, brought to you by Hip Hop on the Grizzly Grind. My name is the Overyt, the man who controls the hype, and the project that we are going to be taking a look at is a new release from Reece. It is an EP, which is titled Deadlines Free Part 2. Hey man, let's get started.
This shit gon' be the death of me. Could've see the Lord was blessing me. Shit gon' be the, yeah.
Alright, so before we get started, please do the most by hitting the like, share, and subscribe button, just so that this page grows and that people do know that this dope content is actually out there. Okay, so when it comes to this project, we're going to be taking a look at this tape from a production point of view, a conceptual point of view, a lyrical content point of view, as well as an overall feeling, while I give the whole project a rating out of 5. So now the free, the project in itself, the Deadlines Free Part 2, consists of 7 tracks and features from artists like Quentin Miller, Marcus Harvey, J Jody, DJ Maphorisa, as well as MT. Alright, so now when it comes to the whole production side of things, now you could define or describe the overall sound as boom trap, right, which is basically a mixture of boom bap as well as trap, with obviously the exception of Afro beats in one of the songs featuring DJ Maphorisa and J Jody. And when speaking of the sound, you could define it as like I'm saying, trappy sound with boom bap elements as well as its BPM, and the beats in itself allow the MC to breathe. They complement Reece's style, and also allows him to actually tell his story without having to compete with the producer. So it was an equal balance between artist and producer, and the project in itself allows both entities to basically shine, you know what I'm saying? And the vibe I get from the beat selection is a vibey kind of vibe, you know what I'm saying? It's very laid back. I can picture myself driving, having a long drive, you know what I'm saying? Well, a 20-30 minute drive because of the length of the project. But then I see myself driving when listening to this. I see myself walking quite a distance, you know. If I want to think, I'll be listening to a project like this, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so now let's talk about the actual tracks. As the concept, Deadlines, I felt like it was an actual book, right? That's the name of the book. With when scoping the tracks before you actually listen, you see how everything basically connects from track 1 to track 7, and you see that like every track is basically a chapter of a story which comes together as deadlines. So I think Reece was very intentional about that, and shout out to him for still keeping the album or project concept alive and all that, man. It didn't sound like 7 random tracks to actually give you an EP. One track actually led to the other, and true music fans will notice and appreciate that, you know what I'm saying, on a conceptual vibe and all that. So now let's talk about like Bad Guy. Like Bad Guy is basically the opening track where it's basically classical Reece, just showing us why he's still the same person he is, and why we fell in love with him as hip-hop fans and all that. And then he gets straight to business with that track titled Death, where he basically shows us or tells us like the state of the game, like the current state of his life right now. He's also very reflective in that project, in that track in particular, telling us what it took for him to get to where he is, and shows you exactly like what he went through as well, the things he picked up along the way, and all the things he noticed along the way as well, and how he had to like dead certain parts of him in order to get to the next like stage in his life / like music career. But I'd say life because life is basically music and all that, man. So yeah, that's actually one of my favorite jams, you know what I'm saying? And then moving on to that like love track where he's basically paying homage to his lady, his queen, and all that, nah. And it's also a pretty dope track because now you see that like relationships ain't really like as hunky-dory as they perceive to be, you know. He expresses his challenges, he expresses basically what he's trying to like see through the eyes of like his lady, and saying to her, oh, yo man, like yo, you must holler if you feel like, you know, we're moving too fast. This is the kind of person I am, this is the kind of person you are, and yeah, without you, man, like yo man, like things get a little bit tense and rough and all that, you know what I mean? So shout out to that track. Another one of my favorite tracks as well, man, is when he goes straight to the Afro beats. So now when I first heard the Afro, I was like, damn bro, another love song, dog, really bro, is it that rough? Until I heard J Jody's verse. J Jody's verse is actually through the roof, man, and I feel like him appearing on this project was also very important because of the ratings he's been getting on a lyrical point of view. People like obviously comparing him with his bro Reece. And in that song he basically explains, oh yo bro, like as much as we from the same like bloodline and all that, man, like I have my own perspective, I have a different story, and I have my own like story to tell per se. And I love how he actually expressed that, you know what I'm saying? Like people would expect J Jody to be like, if he were to go on his Super Saiyan lyrical shit, they'd expect him to like mirror Reece and all that, but like actually felt like obviously there's a similarity because of the bloodline thing, but at the same time, you know, he showed us why he's J Jody and how he actually like puts his pen to page and he expresses his perspective, man. It's really dope, man. I love the quotables that came out of that song, and I love how the vocals from Maphorisa as well, man. Like it really helped to put the song together, you know. It really put it together properly. I'm not gonna comment much on Reece's verse because we all know that he brought the heat, but like yeah, I just wanted to say, yo, shout out to J Jody, bro. You really did the most there. And also like the Afro beats, man, did the most, man. I think this could also want to be one of the singles to come out of this project just before the actual project drops, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, this is also one of my favorite jams as well. The song after that, bro, I could define or describe this one as even though it wasn't, but I could see it as an interlude to show that the project is about to end and all that, you know what I'm saying? So it's pretty dope, pretty laid back. I don't have anything negative to say about it. But yeah, man, like it wasn't as intense as the other tracks leading up to it, you know. And the next track after that, man, a song titled Bigger Than Me featuring MT. It was for me, man, like honestly speaking, the track was dope, it was fire, right? I just expected MT to come a little bit harder, you know what I mean, especially since they haven't been on the same track in a very long time, you know. So the feeling I got was them just trying to get back to them ambitious days, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you know, it was a dope song. I just feel like, yeah, both of them should have came a little bit harder. But at the same time, this could also be the single to come out of this project, so I wasn't too strict on that. And then I think the track is titled Godlike, and he was just like, I could say, flexing his pen, but at the same time closing off the project, you know what I mean? I also don't want to give like too many spoilers on my favorite bars here and there and all that, you know, just so that you can go home and like listen if you haven't listened to it yet and all that. But that's also like one of my favorite tracks as well, man. Godlike, also classic Reece, man. Like I love how like it's classic Reece but in a more grown state. So when listening to like the first track and then listening to the track, the last track, towards at the end, you actually see his growth, you see his development, you see the development of his pen, and obviously the way he expresses, man. I love how he doesn't have to like spit like, you know, corny punchlines, man. The punchlines are in his are in the way that he actually says what he says. You know, Reece is known to be like a simple writer. Like his rhymes and whatnot aren't as complex. He doesn't have to like be complex with these schemes. He doesn't have to make his punches obvious, you know. Like for me, like his perspective is the punchline, you know, the way he actually sees things and all that. So you actually have to, well, you don't have to, but like for me, man, I feel like I appreciate this project, you know, because now we are still waiting for Paradise 2, and this project in its entirety was a dope interlude, you know, of like what's to come. And I'm also very excited of what's to come, which gives me like, which leads to the overall feeling, you know, overall feeling of the project. I don't recall having a feeling like I want to skip a track, you know, like I can listen to the whole project, you know, without skipping. The replay value, there's replay value in this, you know. This is something that you'd like to or want to, you know, save as as part of your playlist, that go Spotify, that go YouTube, that on your phone and all that stuff, man. And yeah, man, like, yeah, the only track I wouldn't like rate as high as the others would be the one featuring MT, you know, for the reasons I stated previously. And yeah, man, as for the rating out of 5, I'd like to give this project a nice 4 out of 5, you know what I'm saying. Nothing wrong with the project. The project was dope, acoustically as well, you know, very laid back. The beat selection, like I said earlier, was boom trappy, you know what I mean. So it was mainly trap with a boom bap BPM, which allows Reece to be Reece and say what he wants to say without like competing with the beats or trying to flow according to the beat and all that stuff. It's very complimentary to him. The concept as well, man. Deadline, you know what I'm saying, like yeah, like, you know, we're getting closer and closer to the deadline. Yeah, Paradise 2, and while we wait, you know, he hooked us up with this to give us the current state of affairs happening in his life and his space and his mental. And yeah, man, like, yeah, please, man, be sure to like take a listen to this project. Let's support South African hip-hop. And yeah, man, for what we really do, Hip Hop on the Grind, the radio show, man, we air every single Wednesday on Massive Metro between the hours of 8 to 10 p.m. It's one of the only shows in this country that plays 100% of SA hip hop, bridges the gap between the streets and the industry, and the only one of the very few shows where hard bars save you with no diggity doubt, man. As for me, I am the Overyt, the man who controls the hype, and I'm over and out. Word up.
What I do what I say. Listen to the wisdom embedded into the microphone. Yeah, fame is a hard drug to microdose. Yeah, take it from me, cause I would know. They put a price on integrity, woke without a soul. On the road to your destiny, you could take a toll. You look around and nobody's telling you take it slow.